Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. This video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. All right, guys, a lot of crazy things happening. It's been a few days. I apologize. I've been tied up with work. I will probably be tied up with work for the next 30 days or so, more so than usual. Just heads up on that. But I will catch up on things on the weekend. And whenever there's something big, and it's even hard to say because there's so many things happening and it's like there's something else every single day. But as things really progress here and when big things start to happen, I'll try to make sure to free myself up to do a video on it. Now, I do just want to cover something off the jump here. So stocks are down today. Bitcoin and crypto are holding, and I'm genuinely surprised that they're holding where they are despite what's happening with stocks. But I just want to read over some things. So these are some price performances over the last 30 days. So keep in mind that, all right, well, let me just go over these numbers first. Bitcoin is down 12%. And this was a point in time, just a screenshot from this morning. Bitcoin's down 12%. Quant is up 75%. Uniswap is up 65%. Polygon's up 45%. Cosmos is up 26%. And Aave is up 25%, ICP is up 14%. I hold all of these positions. My Uniswap position is pretty small, but for the rest of them, I mean, most of these are my core positions. And those are the numbers. Now, had I ran over these numbers 3 or 4 days ago, they would be even more skewed towards alts, because going back a few days includes the drop from 28K down to 20K. So Bitcoin, instead of being down 12%, it would have been down like 30%. And Uniswap, Polygon, Quant, and Aave have all been up. They kind of peaked right at that level, except for, I think, Quant, and now Polygon as well. From their bottom, they've already gone up 100%. So from their bottom, they've already doubled. Now, a couple of them have pulled back, but still probably up 80–90% from their bottom. Now, anything can happen. This could change today. Bitcoin could drop down to below 19, and alts could just fall off of a cliff and drop 80 or 90%. These specific alts. But about 45 days ago, so that's the price performance in the last 30 days. Bitcoin's down 12, many of them. Quant 75% up, Uniswap 65% up, Polygon 45% up, Cosmos 26, Aave 25, ICP 14. So those are the last 30 days. Now, 45 days ago, there's a lot of people who were making very definitive claims, many of which in my comment section. Now, some were just, general. And guys, listen, I never have an issue with anything that y'all say. I never have an issue if you have a difference of opinion than I do. If you object to something that I say, I encourage pushback. It keeps me sharp and it keeps me looking at things in a different angle because I get things wrong. So it's always good to have other perspectives. I don't ever have an issue with anything that y'all say in the comment section, even if you are making definitive claims, which I would advise against because nobody really knows, and it prevents you from being able to see all sides, the side of everything, okay? But 45 days ago, many content creators came out. I mean, the majority of large content creators came out and were saying things like, you don't want to be in altcoins in a bear market. You can't buy altcoins. You don't even want to be holding them in a bear market because despite how far they've dropped already, see, that's the big thing. They had already dropped 80, 90, 95, 98%. Not to say they can't go further. Again, all this could change tomorrow. I'm not acting like I'm not trying to celebrate in the second inning. All of this could change, and that call on alts could turn out to be a great call. We'll see. But as it stands right now, 45 days ago, many of those people discouraged even holding alts. And many directly said, you need to go into Bitcoin or into cash. But probably Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's going to hold up better than these alts. Now, if you just think about that general approach or attitude as a long-term investment strategy. So what? Because we're in a bear market, fundamentals don't matter anymore? Because we're in a bear market, you just think that you should throw out your entire investment thesis? Your investment thesis and fundamentals just go straight out the window. And because what I said about 2 months ago, 2 to 3 months ago, is I said, look at where your assets are, look at where you have your capital allocated, and make sure that you have the most confidence in those areas, regardless of whether that's stocks, crypto, metals, cash, real estate, whatever it is. Even if it's not crypto, make sure your capital is where you have the most confidence, because we're going into uncharted territory. And once we get into uncharted territory, which is where we are right now, which is where we've been for a while, actually, if you don't have an extremely high degree of confidence with where you have your capital allocated, you know, you're not going to be in a great spot. But I just want to really make a point that there's going to be a lot of people making definitive claims today, tomorrow, next week, next month, just the same way that they made these definitive claims 45 days ago. Imagine, let's just say, speaking hypothetically, and I'm not sitting here telling you that the bottom is in. All I told you is that I think that it's more likely than not based on the data. But they could very easily load up the leverage trading market and drive the price down to new lows. 100% that could happen. And I said that in my original video. But let's just say, speaking hypothetically, that the bottom is in with those altcoins. Just hypothetical scenario. I'm not saying that it is. Let's just say that the bottom is in with those positions. Now imagine if you're a retail investor and you heard all the big name crypto content creators telling you what was coming, and you got out of your positions that you had done your research on, you had a high degree of confidence in, you understood the fundamentals, and you were extremely bullish on those positions. But because of X, then Y was going to happen, right? That it was 100%. Because of this, then that. No questions asked. There's no possibility that anything outside of that could happen. And you take some retail investors that had their positions built out, were very confident with them, but you know, the people, all the biggest names in the space are telling you, oh no, you can't be in those right now. Terrible idea. You're going to get destroyed. You're going to get slaughtered. You're going to get annihilated. Go into Bitcoin. Nobody should be making definitive claims on things that they cannot. There's no possible way they could know. Nobody can see the future. Nobody knows what's going to happen next week, next month. The only thing that I will say with any degree of, the only type of definitive claim that I will make, and I'm not even saying it's definitive, is that implementation will continue. And I always say, this is my opinion, that it's going to continue. I lay out my case for why I believe it's going to continue. And I say, anything could happen. There could be an event that happens that causes this whole thing to, go off the rails. But the likelihood is it's overwhelmingly more likely that implementation is going to continue. That's the only type of definitive claim that I'll make. Everything else, I tell you, is up in the air. Who knows? All you can do is look at all the available information and come to your own conclusions for yourself about the likelihood of the different scenarios that you see playing out. So I just beware of people making definitive claims, okay? Because there's no way they can know. Nobody can know. And here's another one. Nothing's going to happen with this market until the halving. Nothing's going to happen. Maybe, maybe not. How many examples, and that goes off to a different story about is crypto, is it more correlated with stocks than it is with any particular halving event, and exactly how many cycles have we been through? You could technically go back through Bitcoin's history and look at different periods where you could technically call it a bull cycle over a shorter period of time, but that's a separate conversation. But nobody knows what's going to happen. And let me ask you a question. Do you really believe, given how counterintuitive this market has been, do you believe that, let's just say the market's going to stay flat, stay down for the next year and a half, and then 3 months before the halving, all the retail investors, all the content creators, hey guys, the halving's coming up. Everybody FOMO in now at dirt cheap prices because in a few months it's going to skyrocket. And that's how this, I just don't see that's how it's going to play out. I think this is going to continue to be very counterintuitive. And I think it's going to continue to surprise people what happens with this market, because I think that's how this has been set up. And it's entirely possible that nothing could happen until the halving. But one thing does not equal another thing. And in previous cycles, like when people were talking about altcoins, see, there's new information that's come out over the last year. 2, 3, 4 years ago, these technologies were not being adopted by the largest corporations in the world. Most recently here, Disney and Polygon. Once these technologies start being implemented with the largest corporations in the world, that's a new variable added to the equation. That's new information that you have to take into consideration when you're trying to look at the entire picture and make informed decisions. So that's that. The IMF is warning of a debt crisis. The Bank of International Settlements is basically just coming out and saying, yeah, we're going to roll out CBDCs all over the world. They obviously didn't say it exactly like that, but in my opinion, that is what they are suggesting, is that CBDCs are coming to a country near you in the foreseeable future. The Polygon and Disney deal, big deal, very big deal. And guys, when you hear about a corporation using a certain blockchain for NFT-related purposes, understand that NFTs are going to be used for everything. They have deceived the public and made them think that these are only going to be used for animated pictures of dogs, cats, and monkeys. They're going to be used for everything. Everything, especially social media, and it's going to be the form, in my personal opinion, that a lot of different documents, books, papers, pictures, short videos, memes, a lot of different things. A lot of things are going to be in NFT form. And that gets into a separate conversation about ownership on the internet and why this is going to be different than the previous iteration of the internet, which is a separate topic, which I'll do a different video on that. Let's see here. We still have the CHIPS Act coming up, and that may get pushed back. It may get just ripped apart and nothing happened with it. But just know that Congress is sitting on a $250 billion bill, spending bill, solely for the tech industry. $50 billion going to the semiconductor manufacturers to manufacture semiconductors here, and the other $200 billion is just going to the tech industry for research and development. So know that that's still out there, and it could potentially be signed off on in the next 30 days. It's chaos happening all around the world. Italy, Netherlands, Ecuador, China, bank runs, Albania, Ghana, Sri Lanka, Argentina. The world is in a state of revolt. Most countries, well, I'm not saying most countries, but a lot of countries. And if there's anything happening in your country specifically, let me know in the comment section below. But, of course, in the States, nobody cares. Nobody's going to, we're just going to watch everything be destroyed. Okay. All right. So the DXY. Okay. Big deal. The DXY is up around 109. 109. Now, keep in mind, this is the relative strength of the dollar, and it's primarily being compared to the euro and the yen, both of which, especially the yen in the Bank of Japan, they're just going to print to infinity. And it looks like the ECB is not too far behind them, even though I believe that the ECB was supposed to be raising rates next week, 25 basis points. So that might have some impact on the DXY, but we'll wait and see what happens with that. And I would expect, they've been talking about the Fed. There's been reports coming out about potentially raising an entire percentage point, maybe 75 basis points. We'll see what happens. Guys, they can raise rates to probably farther than what most people, including myself, expect. But something has to give in other areas, meaning they're going to have to purchase more bonds, meaning that debt to GDP is going to have to grow, or the government's going to have to cut spending. One of those things is going to have to happen. Something else is going to have to happen, okay? That's just, there's no other way around it. Because if they continue to raise interest rates, okay, cool, the government's going to have to pay more and more and more interest to service said debt, so debt to GDP is either going to have to grow or they're going to have to cut government spending. And if debt to GDP continues to grow, they continue to, sell more bonds, they're going to have a buyer, and I don't know any other buyer other than the Fed, and these central bankers have to keep the bond yield suppressed. That is the key. And Greg is right about that. I don't agree with him on some other things, but he's right about that. They have to keep bond yield suppressed. Period. End of story. Everything else goes out the window if they can't keep bond yields suppressed. Guys, that's really all I have for this video. I just want to do a general update. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Who knows where the markets are going to be by the time this video uploads? It's been taking about an hour for me to upload videos. So the markets might have changed drastically by the time I upload this video. So just be aware of that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you see coming over the next 3 to 6 months. Want your feedback. That's it. Take care. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next video.